When you think of jazz, one of the first names that comes to mind is Miles Davis. Well, now the genius's story is being brought to life by Don Cheadle and Miles Ahead. Tonight we're at the New York premiere chatting with Don Cheadle and the entire cast, so get ready for a great night behind the velvet rope. This movie, you pretty much did everything. You wrote, you produced, you direct, you star.
Yeah.
How'd you have time in the day to do it all?
It was the only way to get it done, you know. So I'm just glad that we're here and I survived and people seem to be enjoying the film.
Miles Davis, to see you transform into him is incredible. Tell me about that transformation. How did you become Miles Davis?
I don't know that I ever, became Miles Davis. I know that I really wanted to reach out to him and also kind of pull him close to me, and was very fortunate to have the cooperation of the family. So his son Aaron, his nephew Vince, his daughter Cheryl, Frances Taylor is here, and they just really kept me in the pocket, and I was someone who had them on speed dial and called them often.
You've done everything, blockbusters. And indie's different, especially a passion project like this. How hard is it? What is the process in getting something like this made?
Oh, I mean, and everyone's different. You always have to do something unique and desperate in a way to get these smaller movies made. We had to crowdfund. We went to every friend I had and asked them to participate. And we were shooting in Cincinnati, which had a rebate, and that's another element of it that you have to do. So you just have to figure out ways to rob Peter to pay Paul and get it done.
How did you get involved with Don and telling the story?
I got Don wrote to me about the film. I'd met Don once or twice here and there. Well, we didn't really know each other, but he's an actor who I really respect and admire. And when he filled me in about the idea that he was going to be playing Miles Davis, but also directing, I was hugely excited to be part of that. And then when I read the script and realized that he'd not written the sort of traditional biopic, but he'd cast Miles Davis as the leading actor in this crazy caper movie, I just thought it was genius, and I was so excited to be part of it with him.
One of the things I love is obviously Don directed this as well as co-starred. How was that for you, having your co-star direct?
It's odd only for the very first few scenes. It's a bit peculiar to begin with.
It's weird,
yeah.
right? Like you and I
in
need
the middle
to...
of a scene, yeah, like, hey, try it like this. It's like it sort of breaks a cardinal rule of acting that you don't tell the other person what to do. But in this instance, of course, he had to. And but he's a very, very good director. And of course, because he's in the scene with you, the direction becomes something, it's slightly more inclusive. It's not somebody coming in from behind the monitor. It's somebody who's in the scene with you. And it actually becomes quite freeing. And it made me and I think the other actors feel more included in the process in a way.
Miles Davis, what an icon.
Yeah.
A complicated dude, though. Talk to me about being able to tell his story with Don.
It's one of those things where people already know a lot about Miles Davis, and they're fans of him. And the one thing I love about this movie is that the people who are fans, you really get to see him in a different way. And the people who don't know much about him, you walk away from this movie with much more knowledge. And for me, I was one of those people. I know of Miles Davis. My dad had all of his records, but I learned so much more about him doing this movie.
Don's director, starring, so when you're in scenes with him, does he go into director mode? What was it like?
It was funny because my first day of filming was the last time you see Frances in the movie when she's running away. And that very first day on set, he's speaking to me, as the director, in character as Miles, in my ear, telling me direction. I'm like, what is happening?
Emayatzy with a growl.
Yes.
He's like, Emayatzy to the left.
Yes, it worked perfectly for the scene. It was very eerie and weird, so it was good.
You were played in the film by an incredible actress, Emayatzy.
Yes.
Talk to me about seeing yourself played in the story.
Well, it gets a little hard sometimes.
It's weird seeing yourself, right?
It is weird seeing myself, and especially the love scenes. Oh my God. But I made it through. I mean, it's hard, but it is what it is. I'm so happy that it's made. And they both, I mean, the whole picture is just right on the money.
Is it crazy to see his transformation? I mean, you watch it,
Yeah.
the growl and the kind of the coolness. Was it cool for you guys to see it?
Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. I mean, he did such a good job. It was kind of spooky at times. You know, when I got to the set, somebody handed me some headphones, and I hear like what sounds like my dad's voice coming out of the headphones, and I'm like, "Whoa, this is really freaking me out." And then I see Don, and he's talking to me like my dad, and it was just kind of freaky. But he did a great job. So,
Looking back on your dad's legacy, as a child, what is that legacy?
well, it was hard for me to understand as a child. I mean, the more I work on things for the estate and things like this, is the more that it just, you know, impacts me. You know, and when I started playing with him when I was 19. You know, I started going on the road with him when I was 14, but I started playing in the band when I was 19, and then I really just was like, all right, this is like, it's almost over my head, you know, this is like ridiculous. So,
Vince, you get Don Cheadle involved without him even knowing in this project, and now here it is at fruition. Talk to me about being able to tell Miles' story.
I mean, I think from the time we made the announcement to now, I think Don was into it. We were behind him, and we love where we are with the movie. I mean, he was like a sponge wanting to know everything about Miles that we could give him, you know, like bootleg tapes, and I have a whole hard drive that was just Miles speaking, and dropped it over his house, and here we are, man. He did his thing.
So how accurate was Don? How right did he get it?
What he did an interpretation. So the accuracy is on his part of what he wanted to present. So that's good.
This movie looks awesome. What brings you here tonight?
Well, I'm actually here in New York City filming another project called Collateral Beauty with Will Smith and Ed Norton, incredible cast I'm excited to be a part of. So I'm in town. You know, I just had to come through. Don Cheadle and, you know, Miles Davis, just the whole story is incredible.